Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is in your world. Hey, this is Rick Kaufman, your host with the Kels Group, aka the Drowning Warriors, with episode number 40. This week's spotlight. Actually, we'll be spotlighting the Kels Group and also the Wave System. And also, we'll be talking a little bit about what we've been doing to get the returns and what the successes we've had in the last half of 2018, which is carrying a lot of momentum and pushing us into 2019 and going into the last 3-4 months of the big push here before the Water Safety Drowning Prevention month of May. So we'll be spotlighting some of that information and sharing that here in this episode. So let's go ahead and cue the music. And we've got some coffee here. For those of you that may be watching a video, I've got my coffee. So just so you wanted to see that. And look forward to many more episodes this year. So with that being said, let's cue the music. So Maestro, let's go ahead and get this show started. Hello, I'm Rick Kaufman. I'm part of a new breed of people. We call ourselves the Drowning Warriors. We have a voice for those who no longer have a voice, and for those that do have a voice, we project it as loud as we can because what we know can and does save lives. We wage war every day with people that just don't believe that it can happen to them. We must do things differently. We take massive action as a team. We must do things smarter. We must also be effective with our message from day one. You see, the average person does not believe that it can happen to them, but yet it happens every day. Drowning does not discriminate. It has no boundaries. It is fast. It is silent. It hits when you least expect it. So we fight every day to be heard, to get our messages out to the masses. We are the Drowning Warriors, and these are our stories. All right. Hey, welcome everybody. Hey, this is Rick Kaufman, your host with the Kels Group, aka the Drowning Warriors, episode number 40. I remember my 40th birthday. Some of you aren't even 40 years old that are listening to this, but nonetheless, you'll get there. But episode number 40, it might feel like it's been 40 years, but time is flying because we are having a lot of fun, meeting a lot of great new people, forging new relationships, and just putting out some great content and bringing people together through partnership and just getting other people's stories out there. And it's not about me or my story or anything. Mine has been in 25 years or over 25 years in the making, and there's a lot more relevant cases and stories, I think, to today's time. And but what we're going to be talking about here in this week's episode, again, being it's the first of the year, some people aren't exactly back to work yet. For some people, their kids may not even be in school, or maybe they are, or maybe they wish they were back in school. But nonetheless, I wanted to talk about a few things. And number one, we're going to be documenting a journey that we're taking actually this weekend. The 5th, 6th, and 7th. We'll be coming back on the 7th, but we'll be documenting this trip. And so if you follow us over on Instagram and Twitter, on Instagram, what is my channel? Is Richard Kaufman at Instagram, just all one word, Richard Kaufman. I'll make sure that I put a link to my Instagram page in the bio or into the show notes, and also our Twitter account at Kels Marketing or the Kels Group at Kels Marketing on Twitter. And I'll make sure I have a link there. I'll be documenting our journey there along with everything from just packing the suitcase. So I probably won't document going into the rest area doing that type of stuff, but hey, you never know. No, I don't think I'll do that. But anyways, hey, we're going to be hopefully be talking to a lot of people, meeting a lot of new people while we're on our trip. But at the same time, when we get there to Connecticut, meeting some people that we've been talking to for almost a year. Dave Cutler with the Wave System. We had an opportunity to connect with him. It was about February, I believe, maybe, of last year that we actually had our first conversation. And I know they've been working very hard on their product and service, and I want to again bring their information to the table and let you know what they've got going on here this weekend, and then that way we can bring that to our listeners as we basically go through that. And so we'll be documenting that. So if you want to follow, so in other words, if you can't get there, then get there through my channel on Instagram and Twitter. And then we'll probably link to that through our Kels group on our Facebook page. And we'll also be featuring that probably in next week's podcast. And we'll be tying this all together over this next week. So really looking forward to some great information, learning a lot about drowning detection technology and the wave system and what they have to offer to the marketplace and how they can make pools, open water safer through their technology and their systems. So if you are wanting to attend and you are, especially if you're in Connecticut or New York City area, because you're probably within an hour there, just about any place in that part of New England area. Or maybe, I don't know if the Patriots are playing, or somebody, if after the game, get over there. But anyways, hey, nonetheless, hey, this is I actually got a flyer here from them, and this is a live product demo, which will be held Sunday, January 6th from 6 to 9 p.m. And they'll have food and drinks will also be served. And this will be held at the Dennis N as in Nancy Malone Aquatics Center. So Dennis Malone Aquatics Center. And that the address is 325 Mix Street, and that's Bristol, Bristol, Connecticut. Okay. Also go over to the Wave, which I will have a link to that on to their website, and with the contact information, and let them know if you're able to come. I'm sure they would like to know if you would be in attendance, so that way they can plan for that and everything. So this ought to be a great event. And like I said, we will be documenting this starting probably later today, most likely, but definitely tomorrow as we prepare for the trip and just what all we do here at the Kels Group and talking about that. So that's about all I have to say about that right now, and I want to go into a couple other things. And while I'm kind of rambling on here, I'm going to pull up my PowerPoint presentation here that I have somewheres. Let's find this here. I should have had this all ready to go before I hit the record button, but I'm kind of a fly by your seat of the pants type of guy, if you don't know that already. It serves me well sometimes. Sometimes I get caught up and screw things up. But nonetheless, it works. So we'll kind of give a chance for that to open up here. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee while I'm waiting. But, hey, I just want to, let's talk a little bit about New Year's. Okay. While I'm waiting up for my PowerPoint presentation here to open up, basically it's got some notes and slides here about a presentation that I did here a few weeks ago. But and I want to talk to you about that. But before I do, let's talk about New Year's. Okay. Everybody sets New Year's resolutions, right? And then I read had something come across my news feed yesterday that Girl Scout cookies are coming out. I guess they got a new cookie, chocolate chip cookie, something like that. And those of you that are on on a diet with New Year's resolutions, the Girl Scouts wanted to make sure that you can end your New Year's resolution a little early. So sorry about that. But I think the cookies won't be out till March. So you can go ahead and order that, because by March, if you're still on your resolution, the likelihood you will not be. Make sense? Okay. I was hoping that would make sense for you, because it does for me, because what is it? The average person ends, 4 to 6 weeks. So about mid-February, most New Year's resolutions are over. But there's one New Year's resolution that if you made something, a New Year's resolution in around water safety, drowning prevention, that I hope you stick with. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you about about this here. And what, our goal here at the Kels Group is to reduce drownings by 50% by the year 2028. Okay. Roughly, when my daughter drowned in 1993, there was roughly 4,000 drownings in the United States, with about 400,000 worldwide, with about 1,000 of those being children under the age of 15. And as you know, and as Eric with Lifesaver Pool Fence has got the hashtag Lifesaver Challenge. So I want to mention that also. and make sure that that you go ahead and go check Eric out at Lifesaver Pool Fence at lifesaverpoolfence.com, or also his Facebook page at Lifesaver Pool Fence. But he has you can also search the hashtag, which is Lifesaver Challenge, I believe. I'll make sure that we have that hashtag in our show notes, because we did a video and a video for that challenge on New Year. Actually, we did several. We did one on Christmas Eve. We did one Christmas Day, and then we did another one which was Christmas Eve. And I went with the one on Christmas Eve because it just, I don't know, it just came out better. Most likely, who really cares how well they come out? It's the message that is important, right? But if you're in the water safety, drowning prevention, or anywheres within the aquatics industry, and the industry is an extremely broad industry because it takes in products, apparel, clothing sales, safety equipment. I mean, there's, when you think of as the aquatics industry, water safety, drowning prevention as a business, it is a very broad-based business, okay? Everybody within that space needs to be thinking water safety and drowning prevention, and that includes the people who sell the pools. That includes the contractors, the builders. That includes realtors who sell houses that have pools, insurance agents who sell insurance to homeowners who have a pool, and basically those people that are on the front lines. You figure, insurance agents have an opportunity to talk to people and hand out water safety information, and there's a massive way to connect. If you've got a message to send, there's a massive way that you can connect with those people. If you wanted to connect with realtors who sell houses, especially in the southern, like say Florida, I mean, pull up Google Maps and zoom in on any major city within Florida, Texas, Southern California, anywhere along the southern coast, going from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast, along the Mexican border, whatever. You will see almost every 9 out of 10 houses have a swimming pool. Okay. So realtors need help selling houses that have pools. So there's some great opportunities there. And I want to talk to you about that here in this episode, is the opportunities that lay right in front of us for 2019. My background, and basically some of this is coming off of a slide deck that I have, but what I want to do is talk to you, how we can get our services, our products, or what it is that our story and our message in front of more people. Okay. And 2019 is the year that I want everybody to focus, whether or not you want to or not, that's totally up to you. But my goal for everybody is to focus on reaching new people. Okay. Reaching out and getting in front of as many people as you possibly can this year. Not the same old people like me or Eric or whoever. I mean, we know your story. We know your information. You don't need to convince us of anything from an educational value standpoint. If anything, reach out to us, because there's certain people within this space that has a huge reach, that reach a lot of people that we could help those get their message into or in front of more people, that basically doesn't cost you a dime. I mean, what better advertising than that is free advertising, even if all that was to do is reach one person. But that would be one person that you would make a difference in their life. Maybe what you have to offer makes a difference in their life. You never know. You just never know who the next person is that's going to listen to this podcast, read a blog post, watch a Facebook video, decide and see the hashtag Lifesaver Challenge, whatever the case is. You just never know who will be that next person. So, one of the things is and basically I want to, before I really go on, this is kind of a disclaimer, because, when we start talking results, okay, results are never typical, okay, because, and really, when we talk about specific results, there's one thing, that really is a determining factor, and that is you. The one thing I can't guarantee is that any one person will do the work.
Okay. A lot of people talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk, or vice versa. And so, they have a good story, they have a good message, but they don't put in the time that it takes. So they do one video, they do one thing, and it doesn't go viral. So they say it doesn't work, so that's the biggest thing I want to get across here is that, for many people to get the results that they receive, regardless of how they go about it, it's taken them time to do that. Okay. So, our website, thekelsgroup.com, is relatively new. We purchased that domain around June of 2018. Got the website up and running. Started writing a few blog posts, and we put together a podcast, and we have a story message, and we look at a couple things, but I don't know how many websites are in the world today, but I'm going to venture to say hundreds of millions of websites. How many they actually rank, I don't know. The worst ranking I've seen out of any website that is in the water safety, drowning prevention space or the aquatic space is almost about 20 million, ranked 20 million worldwide, and they don't rank at all in the country or the United States. And so, so from that standpoint, I take a lot of pride in where we are ranking. You can go to alexa.com and you can take a look at your website ranking. Now, with that being said, if your strategy or your game plan, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish does not include traffic to your website, then that particular game plan or strategy may not be of interest to you. Okay. But, with the focus of 2019 of reaching new people and driving traffic, that's what I'm talking about here is you want to drive traffic and drive these new leads, new people to someplace. Okay. Just giving them effective information sometimes, doesn't always work. Some people like to read their information. Some people are visual. They want to see pictures. Some people want to not only listen, but they want the video. So, there's all aspects of learning. But the thing about it is, at the end of the day, what kind of impact can we make in somebody's life? And so, so depending on what your result that you're after, this may not necessarily impress you or whatever the case is, but just to kind of give you an insight here that, as of yesterday, our website, we were ranking around 957,000 roughly. I don't know. Let me pull that back up here. Actually, I'm going to go back off of this slide here. This was our ranking as of mid-December. Our ranking was 982,196. That was worldwide ranking. Okay. And our in the United States was 161,844. What that really says, for some people, it may not mean anything, but what that tells me is if you take a worldwide ranking, a global rank, and that means there's 982,195 websites that are outperforming our website. And then in the United States, that means there's 161,843 websites that are outperforming our website. Okay. Now, there are some heavy hitters, I think. And people might say, hey, Rick, this is December. This is January. This is the winter time. Drowning doesn't care whether or not it's winter or summer. This is all about building momentum. Okay. Building momentum these next 3 to 4 months before the swim season here in the United States really gets off into full swing. It's always summer someplace. Okay. So I think from a worldwide ranking, that's very, powerful. Okay. But it's about building momentum. And, I only found 2 other websites so far that outrank us. Okay. One was the YMCA USA.com. Okay. And they were like 21,000 worldwide, or I'm sorry, they were like 100-some thousand worldwide and like 21,000 in the United States. And then USA Swimming was another one. Again, around 100 plus thousand worldwide, and around 24,000 roughly, there give or take, in the United States ranking. Other than that, I wasn't able to find, at this point in time, I haven't found anybody else that has outranked us. And, the one that really kind of surprises me is poolsafely.gov. That's one that we outrank. Not by a lot, but on the global rank, this was as of mid-December, their website was ranking 1,147,601. So we're outranking them by a couple 100,000. And then their USA rank is 436,454, which means that, we're roughly, 150,000 thereabouts, 140,000 websites better than they are. Now, that's a huge website, in my opinion. It's a .gov website, but that is a website so many people reference, okay? Now, that may mean nothing. To me, that tells me a lot, okay? It tells me that, there's a lot of people who may be referencing that website who are not working, who are not getting the message out, who is not doing what they need to be doing this time of year. They take the winter off, okay? That's what that tells me. It's not that, the website isn't doing the work, but, the Kels Group, thekelsgroup.com is a one-man show, okay? My wife helps me, but I don't have an army of, people out there sharing my material and information. Our reach is totally organic. It's new people. Very, very few people within the water safety drowning prevention space actually listen to our podcast. I see the numbers. I see the clicks. We see the data. We see where the traffic is coming from. And the people that, the ones that, I would think would share the information don't. Okay? The ones that I would think would listen don't. That's just fact. If you happen to be one of those people who happen to be listening to this one, I hope maybe that we can change that going down the road, because, the point here is it's about lives, and it's about making life better for other people and getting information in front of other people. Not any particular one organization's information, but getting, information on layers of protection, information of pool fences, door alarms, CPR, swim lessons. And I am not a proponent of any one particular methodology as far as type of swim lesson. As long as somebody is in the water teaching somebody to swim, I take that as a positive, because otherwise the person would not be learning anything whatsoever. So let's talk risk. Where is the risk? The risk is somebody not getting any information and being put around water where they have not had anything. Okay. Now, I have my own personal beliefs as far as what I think people should be learning and when they should start and how it should be done. But when asked, I let people know. I don't interject that on people. As long as they are doing something, I'm not going to beat them up over it, because I believe that's, one of the things here is when you think of story and you think of message that we're telling people. Yes, one of the things that I found through my own case studies that I've done, and for those of you that want scientific data, this is not a scientific study, okay? I know a lot of people put everything on top of that. I'm just an ordinary dad who, I can do my own case studies when it comes to content, what resonates with people, and I do a lot of it. I do this full time, okay? And I've been doing it for not just, a few months. I've been doing this for 30 years. And so one of the things that I see is and this works in so many different niches, especially when you're talking about things that can be very sad, depressing, when you talk about loss. And I spent many years in the grief space, and so it works there too. And so one of the things is loss avoidance. When we tell our story, like if I tell my story about my daughter drowning, and I lead with that, and I let everybody know that right up front, they can't relate. Okay, they cannot relate to the story because they have not suffered the grief. They have not suffered the loss. It scares the living crap out of them to even, think about it. And so many times what they do is they go into what they call loss avoidance. And so they will shut down, and they will justify that in their own head by saying, well, that's not going to happen to me. So I'm not, I'll take the information, say I'm sorry, send out the little prayer hands on my social media feed or whatever, and I'll go on about my life. Or to make myself feel better, I'll verbally bash somebody if that's what that person's all about. I see that a lot. I know there's some other people that have gotten out of the water safety, drowning prevention space altogether and have left and gone into another niche or another space. There's other people that have taken their pages, their websites down because of trolls and haters, and we can't let them beat us. For whatever the case is. In most cases, when you really get down to the nuts and bolts of this, I have trolls, I have haters. And when I really do my own personal investigation on that, and I scare the living crap out of them, okay? 25 years ago, I was a disruptor. I made a lot of changes. I disrupted the flow of things. I disrupted because I brought about change. People don't like change. They fight change. I see this in this industry right now. I see people who fight change, fight new organizations that are coming, and then new organizations that will be coming because of a drowning victim. And so I see this. It's just common fact. And so that's, I believe your New Year's resolution should be, how many new people can you reach this year? What can you grow? What are you going to focus on? I want you to look at focusing on driving traffic. Number one, you got to have traffic to drive, right? So where do you get that traffic from? Okay. One of the things is I did I have a LinkedIn strategy. And the LinkedIn strategy that I use, because most of you know that if you listen to my podcast, a lot of my podcast guests come from LinkedIn. And a few from Facebook, but on the most part, these are people that I find that are on LinkedIn. They're very educated. They have great information, and in most cases, they're not part of the. How should I put it? They're not part of the status quo or part of the water safety drowning prevention group of people. Okay, which. We're hoping that maybe we can begin to change that, bring them into the fold and bring them into the organizations and open doors up for them to this whole other broad area that they may be able to bring their business to or their organization to, their product to, whatever the case is. Hence why we're going to Connecticut, okay, to see the live demo. I mean, one thing is to sit here and have a personal opinion based off a website. How many of you are willing to take and drop your own personal money and take a trip and go view a live demo of a product that could be a game changer that could possibly save thousands of lives? Not only that, but reduce the risk of lifeguards, giving the lifeguards, additional tools in their toolbox, in their wheelhouse that they can use and depend on. It doesn't replace them. Nothing's going to replace the human element when it comes to keeping the water safe. But, just as Mothers Against Drunk Driving was instrumental in bringing about change and bringing breathalyzers into cars, so drunk drivers have to breathe into a breathalyzer in order to start the car. Now, just like anything else, they could have a completely sober person driving with them blow into the breathalyzer and start the car. If that's the case, the person sitting next to them, if they get in an accident, if something happens, that they deserve everything they get for being an idiot, right? I mean, if they're sober and they blow into a breathalyzer because the other guy is drunk and that person's sober and letting them drive, number one. Number two, they're stupid enough to get in the car and let them do that, then, God help them. And I hope they don't hurt a innocent person in the process. But there's always going to be issues with technology. That's why you can't replace the human element. That's why, police officers and troopers and things like that are not going to be replaced by technology because, there is that human element that, technology can't replace. So, but our goal, like I said, is to reduce drowning by 50%. Okay, by the year 2028 of where it is today. That's going to save a lot of people. And, we utilize our strategies not just on LinkedIn, but also Facebook, Twitter. And, and I'm going to I'm going to begin to wrap this up. And this is really about building relationships with people and looking for people that you can build a relationship, not spam the hell out of them, not, be sending them all your stuff and pamphlets right off the bat, but to take the time to learn about them, understand what their passions are, understand what their fears are. And that way, you get to know them, and then it makes it much easier to communicate. It takes time. And that's where the work comes in. But if you're willing to do the work on the front end, you will build so much momentum over this first quarter of 2019 that can make a huge difference for you. Okay, so it's all about the conversations that we have on a daily basis, and how we talk, and how we can meet with people that we have something in common with. Okay. And so, and it's just like I'm an Ohio State fan. If I wear a Ohio State shirt, to a sports bar during an Ohio State game, I can go up to anybody in that sports bar wearing an Ohio State shirt because I have one, and I could strike up a conversation with them, and they would immediately engage me in a conversation, not knowing nothing about me. Okay. And so how does that play into, say, a virtual world? How do we do that? Well, it's all about building something that you have commonality with. Okay. So one of the things is people like to deal with people who they know, like, and trust. And so when we focus on know, like, and trust factor, and how we can translate that into the social media world, it starts with our profiles. Okay, there's three profiles I want to tell you right now. And when you listen to this, go to your profile. First of all, you can go to your profiles, look at your profiles. Then I'm going to ask you to go to my profiles. Okay, you can go to Rick Kaufman, which is on LinkedIn, okay? And then you go to my Facebook page also, which is Richard Kaufman at Facebook, and also my Twitter account, which is the Kels Group at Kels Marketing, okay? You'll notice one thing in common with all three of these sites. Each one of these sites have a banner, or I refer to them as a billboard. Think of a billboard on a road. Obviously, a highly traffic, a road with a lot of traffic, if you were to buy advertising for a billboard, and I know some of you do, okay, some organizations buy billboards or they're donated. I don't know what the case is, but I know some organizations, some businesses put billboards up in areas that are frequent high traffic areas. And that if you're not paying for it, somebody is. Okay. But one thing is we have free real estate right on our profiles, and it's the banner, and we don't utilize that banner to a way to identify who we are and what we're all about. Okay, so that way when we connect with new people, they don't have to send you a message saying, hey, I don't understand why you're sending me a friend request. I don't understand what this is all about. If they're doing a search and they run across you, it speaks to them because it shows something that you have commonality with. Okay, so you go to Rick Kaufman at LinkedIn and you'll notice that. And if you're not connected with me, shoot me a connection request and I will connect with you. The other thing is go to my Facebook page at Richard Kaufman. You'll see actually the same banner there. And if you go to the Kels Group or at the Kels Marketing on our Twitter account, you'll see the exact same banner, just a different color lettering. And people underutilize this space, and because first of all, Twitter, and especially Twitter and Facebook, they give you so much real estate and very limited space in which to describe what it is that you do. What do you stand for? How do you help people? What is the problem that you solve? And so you have an opportunity that you can go to canva.com and have a free account and be able to set this. At least I think it's still free. If not, there's other ways. There's others out there that you can utilize, but you can go and create a banner that would fit into that space and be able to put a whole bunch of wording and lettering in it and be able to lend yourself with some credibility. We have logos for the BBC Radio because we've been on BBC Radio, also our local affiliates, ABC and Fox affiliate, and my picture of my daughter and another picture of me just doing my thing, drinking a cup of coffee as I usually do when I record a podcast. But it's all about projecting that first image and what you are all about. Just think of it. Just as businesses wear branded shirts and with their logos on their shirts and also on their vehicles. Why do they do that? Okay. And so, what you say in your profile is important too. Okay, so it's all about having what's called a USP, which is unique selling proposition, not United States Postal Service. Okay, but a lot of people say, "Hey, Rick, but I don't sell anything." But you are selling something, and what you're actually selling is you're selling who you are, and why would somebody want what you have to offer, or even listen to what it is you have to say about the particular topic or the problem that you can solve. Okay, and then the job starts. Let's start reaching out to people. And I'm going to kind of wrap up here on this one last stat here. And so let me kind of scroll forward here on my slide deck here. But, it's simply we're going to reach out with what I refer to as a virtual handshake. And we're going to say, hi, let's connect, let's become friends. Okay. And what does this look like? So let's say if you're on LinkedIn, okay, and I work in the niche, in the aquatics niche, but I focus on connecting with a lot of swim instructors, swim schools, people, in other words, people that are on the front lines working with moms and dads and teaching children how to swim, because I believe that there is a huge amount of people out there that do this as a career that are not very well connected to others in the industry. Okay. So my goal is to bring these people together, and that's just one aspect of our goal in order to reach our overall goal. But with that being said, if you have a free LinkedIn account and you set up your profile, you optimize your profile, and you get a USP, it really describes who you are, who you help, how you help them, and it sets you apart from anybody else. So it cuts through the noise. It makes you stand out. Okay, that, understand one thing: nobody can steal your story and what you are and who you are. Okay, so with that being said, I have a screenshot on a PowerPoint presentation, but this screenshot basically shows that we are searching swim instructors. Okay, in the United States. Okay, we're looking at second and third degree connections, and from that standpoint, when we did a search on second and third degree, in other words, what that means is, we have a first degree connection, and then those people have second degree and then third degree. So basically 3 levels deep on our first level connections, which we have I think we're about 2,600, 2,700 connections. So we have millions of people that we have a reach to. That so if you focus on a particular niche of people, you can grow your reach and move that down line. So you're talking, you may only have 1,000 people in your front line, but you could have tens or hundreds of thousands of people that your potential reach is. So here's how this works. So for example, if I did a search for swim instructors in the United States, it is showing, this is as of mid-December, it was showing 62,957. These are people that all have swim instructor in their job title. Okay. I don't know about you, but if I had a product, or I had a service, or I have educational information, or I just wanted to make new connections, this is in the United States, 63,000. And this is probably upwards into the hundreds of thousands when you really think about it, okay, that are on LinkedIn. But these are the ones that I have access to, okay? I can connect with these people. That is huge. That is just huge. And why people are not doing this is beside me. Setting up a table at a county fair is a good thing, but how many people are really your target in knowing who you want to speak to? So you can get very laser focused here. Then you can take that over into Facebook. Now, we can't search people on Facebook. Okay, you can't search people on Facebook, but you can search. Not unless you want to pay for it. Okay, you can do paid advertising and search and really get laser focused right down to the people who drink water, coffee, pop, right down to what size shoes they wear and whether or not they, what type of bathing suits they buy, and do they have a swimming pool in their backyard, whatever the case is. You can get really, if you want to pay for it. But, we're not talking about paying for anything here. What we've been able to do with our website and driving traffic to our social media accounts and what we engage with on a day-to-day basis, we've done totally with no paid advertising, okay? But you can go to groups and search swim instructor groups, and this is just a screenshot with about 4, but there's one with 3.6 thousand, 2.2 thousand, 7.3 thousand, 4.9 thousand, 1.3 thousand. That's just 5 groups. You can click join those groups, begin to add, valuable content, valuable information, but also it gives you access to all their members who would be swim instructors, which there are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of those people on Facebook. Okay. Then we go on to Twitter, and it's the same thing, except on Twitter, people underutilize the real estate. I mean, we get a blank color. I'm looking here on the screenshot, a person with an orange background, one that's got flowers, one that, talks about eat, lift, miscellaneous, sleep, and repeat. So, he's all about eating and sleeping. One that's got a bunch of kids kicking in water. Another one who is who's, I don't know, it's a bunch of pom-pom cheerleaders. Another guy has a picture of him standing in front of a pool. All of these are on Twitter, which are very limited real estate, but underutilizing that banner. So much real estate not being used. I have no clue. But, if there was one person on this page that would utilize that banner information, who do you think people are probably going to connect with? You guessed it. Okay. So again, you go to, my Twitter page, and I'll have links to this all in my show notes, but, and then, if you're interested, and I can send you this PowerPoint presentation, it's actually about an hour long PowerPoint presentation. And it talks about our messaging, our scripts, and different things that we can do. But shoot me an email at rick@thekelsgroup.com, and I'll be more than happy to get that over to you. And so that way you can take a listen and watch. And it's basically just outlines what it is that we do. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and begin to wrap this show up here today. But make sure that you get over to our show notes and take a look at you want to follow our trip and follow our journey this weekend. You can do that on our Instagram page, and also we'll be posting some of that content also on Twitter. But and so we'll be trending. Not that we'll necessarily be trending anything particular, but hopefully we'll be getting some good content out there for those that cannot make this visit. So, hey, with that being said, you can, if you're not sure about anything, shoot me an email on that, comment on this, on this post here, whatever the case is. But, get over to thekelsgroup.com and make sure you subscribe to our podcast. Also, you can subscribe via your favorite channel, whether or not that is Apple Podcast, which is formerly known as iTunes, and Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and there's a bunch of other small little ones that probably nobody's ever heard of. But we are just about on every platform there is that I know of, and if there's not, we find out about one, we will be on that one too. So, hey, with that being said, we're off and running for 2019, and we are out making new connections. Building new relationships every single day, having phone calls with new people that 2 months ago didn't know who the heck we were. We have new listeners. If you have an article, or a blog post, or a blog that you write, or you post information, anything about your organization, shoot me a link to that. I curate a lot of third-party content also that I put out. I have tons of it. But I would also really love to spotlight other people's content, especially if those that are in this space doing the work that we're doing. I would really like to be able to feature you and get your information out as we do that through our messaging campaigns, our email subscribers, and we have some new campaigns that'll be coming up over the next couple of months that are just going to blow people's socks off while they still have their shoes on. But and this is going to be an email strategy tagged with a Facebook strategy that's just going to be epic. And those that are very serious about this problem, you may want to know what we're going to be doing. But I test a lot of this stuff myself first. I'm my own worst enemy, but I'm also my own guinea pig. So I know the strategy works. I've used this strategy. I've seen other people use this strategy. We're just putting a little different twist to this and kind of customizing this for the water safety drowning prevention space. But at the same time, this strategy I think would work in any niche, for any business or any organization, nonprofit, whatever it is that you're driving traffic to, or whatever the result is that you're after. So, hey, with that being said, you guys, glad you've tuned in and you've stayed through this whole podcast. Again, make sure you get over to thekelsgroup.com and subscribe. And that way you don't miss any future episodes, but also you get information about special events, special shows, anything else that's going on. And so as we put out this content, and if you are listening to this and you want to make sure you don't miss anything about our upcoming road trip that we're going on, just make sure that you subscribe, and we will keep you abreast of what's going on with that too. So with that being said, you guys are awesome. Have a great 2019. I know we're going to be reaching out to a lot of people, and we may have already reached out to you, and if not, we may be reaching out to you very soon. So with that being said, keep up the great work, guys. So we will see you guys and talk to you next week. Looking forward to our guest next week. Actually, my guest that I had scheduled just informed me this morning that they were not going to be able to meet that they got called away for a business meeting. So we won't be able to record that show. So we'll be reaching out to a few new people to get you on the show. So take a look at your inbox, okay? It just might have a message so we can get you on our next episode and line people up here for 2019. So, hey guys, it's been great and been long enough, 45 minutes. It's time to get out of here. So let's go. We'll talk to you guys next week.